the fleeting nature of pleasure and yet the true presence of pleasure. And how do you make sense of both parts of that experience? And understanding it in relationship to God and following and serving Him. So there's actually a way to almost talk about that from both directions, if Longman and company are correct. And I do think that's true. So you might think about that. But actually, usually when I preach Ecclesiastes, it's as a single book sermon, in which rather than just going, this won't work, don't build on this. This won't work, don't build on this. I'll say, with some of the things, and I have to admit, there's something about that brings a certain kind of pleasure. And yet, ultimately, in and of itself, isn't fulfilling. Which is a little different than just, don't build your life on this, don't build your life. You see what I'm saying there? In an effort to a little bit better reflect the positive and the negative. So I'll just work through some of the categories that are found there. I don't really want to talk about them in the interest of time, but they're real present realities and things that people attempt to build meaning and a foundation for life on. And they do bring, people wouldn't do it if there was no kind of fulfillment at all in it. There is fulfillment, but there's not a foundation. Because it's temporary, it's fleeting. So finding contemporary examples and analogies that match the experience in Ecclesiastes may be a really good way to preach it. Because, again, it's wisdom literature. And a part of what wisdom literature does, I'll end up having to talk about Proverbs tomorrow, it's observational. From looking at how the world works, you see the Creator's design in just basic cause-effect relationships, consequences of different kinds of behavior. Rather than being revelation from the outside, wisdom literature is much more wisdom based on what the Creator has built into the structures of the world He's created. So usually we think of biblical truth as revealed from the outside. We would have never figured it out if God wouldn't have told us. It's God telling us, wisdom's God telling us stuff, gesturing us toward wisdom that He's built into the way the world works. Well, Ecclesiastes is very observational that way. Experiment, observation. What does this lead to? What does this lead to? What does this lead to? And so instead of preaching it with thundering pronouncements, and just try to preach it in a more observational and conversational way. So this is what this guy tried. Do you know anybody like this? I'll just point out a couple of examples. So surely, if one woman is good, an entire harem of women is better. That's pretty much where it's at, right? So we're just going to Hugh Hefnerize this thing. Well, I'm sorry, I do not see in Mr. Silk Pajamas I mean, really? I mean, I see a person that has never found content. I don't see a life to be envied. I see a person pretty obviously has not figured it out yet. I mean, really? You're like 150 years old and you're still chasing 17-year-olds around? That's not to be envied. I mean, I hate to put this on tape and everything. That's pathetic. It's not to be envied. That shows to me that you've just not figured anything out yet. That you've been living a long time. And you may be living an early adolescent's dream, but what that shows me is you're 100 years old and you're still living like an adolescent. I know the man's not here to defend himself. And I don't really like to take pot shots, and I wouldn't put it that way in preaching, because that just sounds like you're taking pot shots at people who aren't there to defend themselves. And that's unfair. It feels unfair to people. Feels like, you know, that gal on the YouTube video, leave Britney alone.
Forgot all that.
You know what I'm saying, though? You know what I'm saying? It just feels unfair to people, like the person doesn't get a chance to defend it. You're like 2 years old. But you understand what we're talking about, that it does illustrate something. And so what I'll try to do, I'll try to compassionately, empathetically, surface contemporary examples that illustrate the truth of the text. And say, as is reflected in Ecclesiastes, sometimes we think that we're in the right category, but we've just not experienced it to the fullest degree, and that's why we haven't found fulfillment yet. Well, let's look at the people who experience it to the fullest degree. In many cases, they're the people that most demonstrate the futility of trying to find fulfillment within the category. Or if you think that mere riches guarantee happiness, and yet, again, I hate to name names, but think of some of the most wealthy people you know of, the most powerful people you think of, some of whom are very much a part of discussion among American citizens right now. And sometimes I see powerful people that don't look to me to be especially happy people. Contented people. There's something in that striving that just demonstrates they just really haven't quite found it yet. It just illustrates the futility of searching down that path. On and on I could go. I'm giving examples of how you might try, again, in a way that isn't just taking pot shots at people that can't defend themselves. Because do you see what I'm saying about how people don't like that? You're preaching against somebody that isn't even there. There's no chance for them to respond. People don't respond to that as well as they used to. Used to be that you could do a lot of preaching against people who weren't even there. You just get nothing but amens. Increasingly, people just don't like that. I mean, it feels unfair. So you have to be much more empathetic. In a book like Ecclesiastes, illustrated from pop culture is one of the easiest ways to do it because they're the stories you know about. And yet, especially with young celebrities that may illustrate some of these things, I always try to bear in mind that I'm really glad I didn't grow up with absurd resources, or that when I was trying to grow up, I didn't have absurd resources and incredible opportunities, and to be trying to grow up with the whole world watching me. Got huge amounts of money to spend. I can do almost anything I want, and my every move is being followed by a celebrity-saturated culture. Man, I'm really glad. I almost kind of feel sorry for these folks. Man, that'd just be a tough way to have to grow up. So I don't think, especially, if you're dealing with kids, trying to gently help them see people that people somehow seem to want to be like when they grow up, that it's just really not all it's cracked up to be. But yet still not doing it in a way that makes it feel like you're just taking pot shots or being. So I usually try to point out quick examples as I move, fairly quick examples as I move through the categories to help people see themselves in the story, and to see the struggles in the story, and to see how, the currents of culture just work against us on this one. Because what we see in front of us nudges us almost toward wishing we could be or trying to be like, and thinking that these folks have the good life and the rest of us are just schmucks. Or that if we buy enough of this thing that this person wears or has or whatever, then we can kind of sort of be like them a little bit and have just a little taste of how that works. So you've got to get out of that. And yet the other piece of Ecclesiastes is these are just all warped efforts to over-magnify or to misapply things that can very much be gifts from God. Relationships appropriately expressed, not Hugh Hefner eyes. Some of the building projects and such in Ecclesiastes, there's something, the image of God in that, the desire to create stuff. You build your life on that apart from God, it comes apart in your hands. Life does, even if your project doesn't. Parks and gardens and all that kind of stuff. And yet you finish and I gotta do something else. Because in the sense it doesn't satisfy on its own, but there's something of God in that. And if you get everything right in relationship to Him, a lot of what you're looking for in the other stuff finds its appropriate place and actually becomes a means to fulfillment.